Oh, we gotta turn on the comments. Oh, we're live. Okay, hello everybody.
Hey everybody.
Hello everyone.
Awesome. I put myself on the bottom so that way the banners that come up block me and not the guests. So there are our special guests. We have a monkey lizard and an Ewok.
Hi everyone. Hello.
Hey there.
Hi, everyone.
Salacious Rum, Apprentice Ewok.
Thanks for having me, John.
Yay thing tonight.
Thank you.
Hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah.
Knee bad.
How's your week? How's your week been, you guys?
A Monday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, John. You've got two for the price of one. Now you've got Salacious because you've also got Bob Rum in here because you don't want little Salacious on his own causing mischief. So, sometimes I'll speak for Salacious. I hope that's okay.
Tina, good to see you. John Joker, thanks
Hello,
again
John.
for coming by.
Hi, John.
Rozaf. Hoppy's here. Hello, Hoppy.
Hello, Hoppy.
And Darth Mark is here.
Who's that?
Oh, this guy we kind of know. I don't know. He pops into chats and just runs rampant, right? So guys, this is the thing here. So let's start out by I always have to ask this question of my guests. Who do we want to start with, Brandon or Salacious? And Bob, you might. I don't know if you and Salacious should answer this one, but let's go Brandon first here.
Okay.
Brandon, do you remember the very first toy that you got when you were a kid?
Probably not my very first, but I early on I remember getting the Power Rangers, the Red Ranger with the flip head, where it was the helmet, and then
I remember that. Yeah.
Face. And I recently saw that Hasbro, Pulse, and Walmart are doing a retro version of it, so I'm probably gonna pick up one of those.
I saw one the other day, and I was like thinking of you because I remember you mentioning you had those. They had the black, the blue, and the red, and I was like, "Oh, no yellow or pink! Come on!" Hello, Mark. There's my brother, Mikey in Houston.
Hey, Mikey.
Oh boy. Well, did the Ewoks? They didn't rotisserie the monkey lizards. They just did stormtroopers and TIE fighter pilots, right?
They have a strong tradition of barbecuing in the Ewok community. Yeah. Let's put it that way.
Oh. Look at John Joker there. Thank you for the awesome lives. All three of you do wonderful live streams. Thank you so much, John Joker. We really appreciate this. This is awesome.
Thank you, John.
So people saying hi to each other. Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Hey, Mr. Josh.
Howdy, chat. That's pretty cool, John. Thank you so much. So, first Star Wars thing then, Brandon, like toy when you were a kid.
It would have to be the Comlink Episode 1 figures, the ones that you guys have been, starting to get those ones. But obviously, when I was a kid, I took them out of the bubble and played with them, and I remember having most of them. I remember having pretty much every one of every character, and then even my favorite was still was Qui-Gon Jinn even then.
Yeah. Do you think you had most of the Episode 1 figures, like that, at least that first run, that first bunch?
I honestly think I do, because I remember having both Newt Gunray and I can never remember the other guy's name. The other Nemoidian. Yeah.
Newt Gunray and come on. Yeah. It's right there.
Yeah. But
Rune Haku.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I had those. I had the Droideka. I had Anakin, Padme, Obi-Wan, Darth Maul, Jar Jar, Qui-Gon.
Wow.
Like it. I honestly think that, I didn't have the Ascension gun Padme, but I had the one when she was on.
Yeah, the same
Tatooine.
outfit almost. Yeah. Oh, I see.
I had the one on Tatooine.
Gotcha.
I didn't have the one with the royal, like the palace guard armor or suit or anything like that. But I want to say that I had most of those figures, and I can never remember who was on the foil card back for the because there was the red packaging, but then there was also the green packaging. Right?
Yeah. The red packaging had Darth Maul's face, but then the green. Yeah, I always forget who was on the green. Weren't
the green ones the early ones that came out before the movie was released?
It was like Power of the Jedi.
Power of the Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah. Did they have someone's face on those cards? Like I don't have one handy here.
It's Luke. It's Luke Skywalker on the Power of the Jedi. I think.
Was it?
I think so.
Vader's girl's here. Hey, Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Oh, Nathan's here too. Nathan, good to see you.
Hey, Nathan Bowden.
Hi, Nathan.
I hope Salacious didn't get hurt from that head injury. He thinks you're like Dengar too. You've got a head injury.
This is Kowakian monkey lizard style. Just like the Karate Kid. Yeah.
Salacious, I'm going to go to you now. So before we get into your early toys, you and Bob can both answer this. But my brother and I are big Formula One fans, and the other day we found out that has your human that lives with you been to Silverstone? Is that what you were telling me?
Yeah, Bob. So hi, John. So yes, I'm Bob Rum. This is Little Salacious. I'm Bob. I'm Salacious's Earth brother. And yes, as an Englishman and a motor enthusiast, I love cars. Grew up loving cars. Still love cars now, and have a little mini collection myself. Have always loved. Grew up watching Formula One. So yeah, I could talk for hours about Formula One, John. So you want to be careful.
We'll keep it short. But I know my brother would love to hear like Silverstone. Is it as awesome as everyone says it is?
Well, if you had an Italian on the panel, there'll be a big disagreement between where the heritage of Formula One comes from. But I can tell you, it's England, and three quarters of the teams are British, and they all are focused in one area in the south of England. And McLaren is my favourite team as well.
Me too,
yeah, and Silverstone is one hell of an experience if you ever get the chance to go. So there's two sides to the experience, though. You've got to camp and go in on general admission and get all that atmosphere, and then there's the VIP tents. And if you ever get a VIP ticket, they're incredible as well. So
we were taught. My brother and I were talking because they're coming to Miami. They're building a track here in Miami, and hey, TK Terry, how you doing? And we were saying that for like one of the first times we go, whether it is the first year or the second year, we are going to do that VIP experience at least one time.
Yeah.
Because it sounds so awesome, to do the whole thing, and
yeah, so the last VIP tent I went in, I got a ticket at. They had simulators in the tents. They have, if it's a free bar, amazing food, and then they have hosts that from UK TV that host events and stuff throughout the event. So yeah, it's a really good experience. And
oh no, is Dave also an F1 fan?
Oh, really?
We could put together an F1 live stream sometime. And
Let's do it.
Oh boy, Jonathan Redmond, how you doing?
Hi, Mr. Jonathan.
Josh Anderson's here. Did we already say hi to Josh? We might have. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Josh's birthday on the 1st of April.
Oh.
Actually.
For real, or is that an April Fool's joke?
I think I think it's genuine. So,
well, happy early birthday. So, Salacious, and Bob, both of you guys, do you remember your first toy as a kid?
Yeah, so I was chatting to Mark, Darth Mark, actually, early on this evening about early toys. I have a really good memory when I was a kid, and so I do remember Stickle Bricks and some of the early, some of the early toys I had when I was a baby. Do you remember Stickle Bricks? The
I
big
don't know
chunky.
bricks, but is
So I
that
do remember
Oh, wait, are those the ones that have the little pointy
spines.
bits
Yeah,
and you can
that's
stick
it.
them together?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's like toddler Lego. So
yeah.
I do remember all of that stuff, and I also remember the early Lego set. So I had the castle, which goes for a pretty penny now if you've got the
Yeah.
original castle in a box. So I do remember
Well, wait.
early Lego.
Did you have the yellow castle before they made gray tiles, or was it the
Yes.
first? Oh, yeah. So you really
No,
had
no.
the
Yeah, no. I'm quite
yeah.
old. But my first I'd consider Lego's proper toys, but my first proper line, if you like, was Star Wars. Um, and yeah, and so I remember I feel like we were quite lucky. I was not from a rich family at all, like a regular working class family. My dad was in the armed forces, so we didn't have a lot of money. But I do feel like we were quite spoiled. And maybe it was because the price of toys were lower. I don't know, but I remember getting the Millennium Falcon for Christmas and just being
Oh,
like, wow, this is amazing. So that's probably my, a real standout memory of growing up is Millennium Falcon, and then, some of those toys. I love the Imperial toys, and when Return of the Jedi came out, that was it. It was just like, oh my god, this is where the fascination for Jabba's palace and all the creatures came, and I fell in love with Return of the Jedi. It's my favorite of the Star Wars films. So in terms of first lines, John, obviously Star Wars was really where it started for me.
that's cool. Yeah. Pretty much the same for myself and my brother. Was Star Wars really got us into that, and then we went all in, like GI Joe, Transformers, He Man.
Yeah,
It just
same.
grew to everything. Man, Gary's been to Monaco. That's an experience right there.
Yeah, Monaco's absolutely beautiful. I've never watched the Formula One there, but I have travelled. I have travelled there, and yeah, it's an incredible place, for sure. I'd love to watch a race there.
Yeah, everyone's agreeing that's going to be a beautiful place to be.
Although the racing's not very good because it's basically single truck file because of the roads are so narrow.
That's right.
So,
They are pretty narrow there. Yeah.
you don't get a huge amount of overtaking. So it's if you do well in qualifying, then.
And then does Salacious have a first toy? Like, Salacious? How old are you actually?
Well, Bob, sorry. Well, John, to be honest, I don't really know. Because monkey lizard years are a bit different to Earth years, and I came through an intergalactic space portal, so I couldn't really tell you, to be honest. But I'm quite old.
Okay. Yeah.
Salacious B. Crumb is my pappy. Did you know that?
Oh wow! I see. Yeah, I see.
He was a naughty monkey lizard though. I'm a friendly one.
So if he was your direct father, then you probably came through like a space and time portal because it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, what happened was Bob's Earth mum went to a nightclub called Roxy's in Reading, and she had a really good night. And she said she was abducted by aliens, and when they found her, Bob and I popped out.
Oh, crazy!
Yeah, so the word is that she says anyway that she went through an interdimensional space portal and she fell in love with a cheeky palace jester, and they had a bit of a fling.
Amazing.
Bob's Earth dad weren't too happy about it because he was like, well, what's going on here? Yeah, so growing up having Salacious, growing up in England was difficult. Salacious got picked on a little bit, but he's had English schooling, which makes him a little bit different to most monkey lizards.
Gotcha. Yeah. You don't have a date stamp on your butt.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Right? Yeah. What is he going on about? What's his COO? Do you have a COO mark on your butt?
Yeah, it's well, it's not. I always hoped it would be Koak, but it's Tatooine.
Tatooine, I got you.
But I'm 100% Quackian by heart. Part English,
gotcha.
Part England too, I suppose.
But do you remember your first toy? Did you play with toys when you were a kid? A small monkey lizard?
Yeah, I played with Bob's toys.
Oh, okay. Just took his stuff.
Yeah, that's basically right. We used to share toys. So this is where our love for Jabba's palace and all the creatures came. So I can't tell you, John, how many of these we've got. But
I saw some of your customs.
It's a substantial amount. These, by the way, for vintage fans, people that want to get into vintage toys, this is the cheapest, most commonly produced Star Wars figure you can get. They overproduce these by the thousands, and you can get these for literally a couple of quid, sealed.
Still in the baggie, yeah.
Yeah, sealed, mint in bag. So there you go. And look at them, beautiful little thing.
Look at the dirty varmints here. Hello, dirty varmint. Mission Fleet is his favorite new Star Wars figure line.
Yeah, good fun, that line.
He had a very Guardians of the Galaxy upbringing, he says.
For sure.
Clink.
Off-World Adams here. Hello.
Hi, Adam.
Dark Lycan. Great chat the other day. I watched one of Lycan's chats. I really enjoyed it. Love Mission Fleet. Heath is here from Man Cave Hobbies. Hello, Heath.
Hello.
We losing everybody? We're glitching. Ryan Rumsey's here. Hello, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
Everyone else just saying hello to everybody. So, next question is, do you currently only collect Star Wars? Let's go back to Brandon.
Nope.
So what are you into right now?
I don't know if you can see him, but I got the Marvel Legends Thanos up there.
Nice.
I recently got the black brown and gold Wolverine. And
those claws are awesome, aren't they? Like, they really did a good job. They changed the design of the claws finally, and they're really beefy and good size claws now.
They do bend a little bit, but I mean, they go right back to their form. And then I got the retro Spider-Man figures. I got the animated series Batman, and then good old Sleeping Collectibles sent me the gold label Batman.
Yeah.
And if I do get figures, it's usually comic or animated appearance, rather than the movie figures and stuff like that. And I will start getting like one or two main characters from classic franchises that I watched when I grew up. So I want to get like Alien and Predator figures and Terminator, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I loved them growing up, and I had toys of them when I was younger, and I just realized that like I don't have any of those anymore. I still have the Super Nintendo Turtles in Time cartridge, but I don't have any of my old Turtle stuff. But it's mostly comic and animated stuff besides Star Wars.
But you want to get the NECA Turtles? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm not sure.
Or not sure? Okay.
Yeah.
This is for me, I'm guessing. Yes, I do have the Kenner aliens. I've got the Queen alien, the regular. I've got a bunch of the regular Scorpion type aliens, and then the Rhino, and there was one other one that was weird, like the Rhino.
There's a Gorilla. I've got the Gorilla one's cool.
Yeah, and then I've got all the human characters. I got all the humans open and sealed in packaging, including the variants of the humans sealed in packaging. Because I had some from when I collected before, But in the beginning of quarantine, I went through and got the ones I was missing and made sure I had the variants because they were, I just wanted to complete the collection. Left Coast Graphics is here. How you doing, Left Coast? Good to see you. Good to see you.
I love that Kenner line. I collect those as well. Have you got the power loader? Have you got the power loader, John?
Yeah, the power loader and the tank. I got the tank. I want to get the jet plane, but I haven't got that yet.
Yeah, the guns on the the weapons on the power loader always go missing if you buy them secondhand.
Mine's in the box, so I've never opened it. I don't. So I haven't really messed around with it yet.
Do you collect the Predator kind of figures as well?
I have just the Predator himself, and I want to get the Alien Predator 2-pack.
Yeah.
Because I got the retro Predator right up here that was released single-carded just recently. Yeah. It was like a throwback, and that's actually the style of the one that's in the Alien versus Predator 2-pack. So I want to have the 2-pack now to match that figure,
Yeah.
He's hanging up there, and that's why I'm pointing up there. He's in a random spot. Gosh darn, I found those someday. I want to get the Krang. The only one I'm going to get is Krang because I'm a Krang. It's a good rabbit hole to fall down, Mark. I like the Alien figures myself. I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big fan of those.
Of army building, yeah. It's a good way to do it. Have an example of each. Like if you like multiple lines, have an example of each line in your collection.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I've been thinking about getting like 1 or 2 Transformers, but I just do like Optimus from it. So I'm looking for a good Optimus.
Pick a character from Transformers you like and go for that. Yeah, the Earthrise Optimus is really good.
Okay.
If you don't want him to transform, the RED version is really good, but he doesn't transform. But he's still a good-looking Optimus.
Yeah. I'd want to one.
Yeah. And actually, the Bumblebee Optimus Prime isn't that bad. The 6-inch one, or 7 inches, I guess. Okay. But I got him in the I have a whole cabinet of Optimus Primes, yeah. Because of through the years thing, Salacious, how about you and Bob there? Do you guys collect more than just Star Wars, or is that what your really main focus is on?
No,
do you collect anything more than just monkey lizard merchandise?
Yeah. No, John, we're a bit like you, to be honest. We're a serial collector, so we collect a lot of lines. I'm not what you'd call a completionist, nor a perfectionist, but really my adult collecting really started off in English car boot sales and toy fairs and flea markets, and so I started recollecting my old lines. So I've got a hell of a lot of vintage Star Wars, but I've got vintage Motu, Thundercats. Like you, I'm a fan of Secret Wars, so I've got some of those holographic Shield Thunder Wars. Yeah, love.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, love Superpowers and Secret Wars. I've not got all of them.
Oh my gosh, I love those.
Yeah, I've got 2 or 3 of my favorite ones from each one. I've got a G1 collection. Not all of them, but the ones I like. And I've got I love GoBots and Rock Lords. That's probably the one line that is really complete. I've got all the Rock Lords.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
You have the vehicles also.
I've got the crazy vehicle. I know.
Nice.
Who would have seen all these people complaining about this rock in the High Republic? Weren't there for the Rock Lords line? Obviously, rocks driving vehicles.
They literally turned into a round rock.
Well, the car, the Rock Lord car has wings, so it converts from a rock car into a rock plane. Would you believe it?
Nice. That's awesome.
And
it gets off the ground. Even though it's a heavy rock, it gets off the ground.
Exactly. And I really like crazy stuff. So I like
like food fighters.
Yes, I like Food Fighters and I like Mad Balls.
Yeah.
I love Muscle Men. I've got tons of
Boglins.
those.
Do you remember the Boglins?
Boglins.
You
Yeah,
put
I've
their
got
hand
a
in
lot.
there.
Yeah, there we had the big Boglins and also the mini Boglins, and in the UK you could get the mini Boglins in cereal as well. So
Oh my gosh.
I like collecting cereal toys. And actually, the Boglins are back. I don't know if you saw the Kickstarter. So
I did. I saw that they have the box. I remember that box. I have that box back. Yeah.
So that's really how I started getting back into collecting, was going through all those old lines. And although I've not completed any of those old lines, I've got examples from each of them.
Yeah.
And then I started collecting more modern lines. So I've got, in terms of Star Wars, I've got Power of the Force and Vintage Collection and a lot of Clone Wars era stuff. And I'd say over the last couple of years, I got into Black Series, and but I think my heart really is with the older stuff, to be honest. But I get sucked into the new lines when I meet people on YouTube like you guys, and the men on the Free Men and the Monkey Lizard stream have sucked me into Marvel Legends now, and
right,
and the DC multiverse, and so it's I think I just like cool stuff, John, like you guys. And when you like cool stuff, you just you can't help yourself, can you? I love all Japanese stuff as well. So I've got
that Shogun Warriors Godzilla is one of my Grail pieces. I gotta get that Shogun Warrior Godzilla back because we had him we had him when we were kids, and he sank in the bog. He sank in the swamp, and we just want him back. I just got to have him back someday.
He may resurface.
It's a funny thing because every single toy store you go into, every comic book store, every vintage toy store, everyone I've been into has at least one Shogun Warriors Godzilla. Yeah. And some stores, like there's one this way back when that's just 5 minutes from my house. He's got 3 of them, actually. One of them is in his personal collection that's behind the counter that he has on display in his, my collection showcase.
Cool.
And then he's got, 2 of them for sale. So as rare, as expensive, I should say, as that guy is, he's really expensive, usually $300-400. But yet he's in every single store. Every comics, the comic store near me has him. We went to Big Red Toys in Tampa. They had him. I go over to this new store we found, Bits and Buttons, and he has one behind the counter. It's so why is he so expensive if every single... I mean, there's a flea market near my mom's, and there's a guy in there that sells toys, and he has one for sale. So it's why are they so expensive if they're everywhere? If everybody has one for sale, why are they still so expensive? That's what bothers me.
Yeah.
But when you go across something like the Kraken from Clash of the Titans, I've only ever recently, in the last 5 or 6 years, I've only seen one in a store for sale. One. So he justifies his cost because you don't see him every day,
I'd love to have a what is it? Harry Houston, is that how you say it? Harryhausen collection.
Harry.
All those, Clash of the Titans.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, a collection of all those classic monsters would be absolutely brilliant. I love Godzilla. So, I've got a Mecha Godzilla from Bandai, which is quite old, which is quite cool.
I've got my surfing Mecha Godzilla right here. Everybody surfing now. Let's go surfing now. Come on, baby, surf with Mecha Godzilla. I don't know why his arms are like that. I just didn't. I'm like, why would you make him like that? It just looks like he's surfing. I don't know.
That's awesome.
I found him on clearance somewhere. It was like, this is ridiculous. I gotta have this.
Well, those old Godzilla movies are a bit goofy, though, to be honest, aren't they?
Yeah. So there is a question for Bob here. Did you do a room tour video?
So everyone asks me about this all the time, and basically my situation is that I live in a flat, or if you call it an apartment in America, and it's only a 1-bedroom flat. It's on the market actually. I'm trying to move I don't have a family or kids or anything, so I am looking to buy a house that I can have a collection room in. So all my stuff is in storage at the moment. So I have to rely on trying to catalog everything on an app to try and remember what I've still got, to be honest. But one day I hope to do one, and we'll do a Dave Vintage Toy Rush jobby with a little 3 or 4 day diary of setting it all up. So yeah, it's a dream, to be honest, John, to have a collection. It's my dream really to have a collection room. So
yeah, it's like I've outgrown the room I'm in, so I'm starting to take over the rest of the condo here, and slowly but surely, I gotta set up another thing of shelves to put out there. I'm going to secretly get rid of one chair that we never use, and where that chair is, a whole new shelf unit's going in, and we'll see how long it takes for everybody to notice.
Yeah. Well, people keep coming around to look at my flat, and my agent keeps saying, "Look, clear out the stuff because no one wants to see that." And then I keep buying new stuff in, and actually, someone came around to look at it the other day. And I actually had to work from home, so I was stood outside, and I could hear them laughing because as soon as you walk in, there's a life-size Salacious Crumb, like
right, yeah.
And I could hear them all laughing, going, "What the hell is that?"
And do they know who he is, though?
I think they kind of get it because there's all there's Black Series and stuff on shelves, and so
Muscle Men is one of the things that I wish I knew where they went. They disappeared on me. They were probably just left when I moved from New York to Seattle. They were probably left in the barn with the robotics and some other things that were left in a box in the barn. And then the barn collapsed, and snow and everything fell on them. They got totally rotted out, black mold and everything. Just all that stuff got destroyed that was in the barn when the barn collapsed.
Oh no!
It collapsed in the middle of winter, so there was like 10 feet of snow on everything. And my dad was down in Florida when it collapsed, so he didn't get back until the spring. So it had sat there the whole winter, it exposed. And I bet my Muscle Men were in with those things.
Oh.
But I had the gym, the battle cage, for Muscle Men. And you would clip them into these little clips, and there were these little thumb triggers, and they would fight each other until one fell off the clip, and that was the one who lost. And it had ropes around it so that it looked like a real wrestling ring. And then I had like probably 50 or 60 different Muscle Men. And
yeah,
I remember that I still had the box for the battle cage because the cage would go in there, and then all the Muscle Men, and I kept them in the box for the battle cage as my carrying case, so I could take it to friends' houses and stuff. So it would have been cool to still have that today, because every time I look up that battle cage thing on eBay or on Mercari, I can't find it. Like, it's like it doesn't exist anymore. And the other weird thing is, I remember Muscle Men coming in like a can. They were in like
dustbins.
Yeah, they were in like a bin.
Plastic dustbin, yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
And the thing is every time you look up Muscle Men online today, they come carded in a blister. They don't, and those are the modern ones. So I'm like, where's the cans? Didn't anyone keep an unopened can from when they were a kid? Like, I don't understand why you can't. You can find unopened Star Wars figures, unopened Battle Beasts, but you can't find brand new unopened like cans of Muscle Men. And it blows my mind. Like, didn't anyone keep this stuff, or did everyone have the same situation I was in? They all got somehow disappeared.
So they are. So I think it's Super 7, isn't it, that remake them now?
They remake them now. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have done some special editions in the old dustbins, but you're right. Yeah, trying to find one of those old ones is difficult.
Yeah. And they do like I got all the wrestling Muscle Men where they did like Roddy Piper and because I found them at a dollar store, at a discount dollar store.
Yeah, you can get alien ones. So the Xenos are really good fun if you can collect those, and they do Motu, and they do all sorts.
And Thousandth Ghost, thanks for becoming a member of the YouTube channel. That's really nice of you. Run to Brandon. We'll start talking Hot Toys. Speaking of Hot Toys, Brandon, there we go. He's getting us on the subject. Have any of them showed up yet? They're still on order that you got?
The only one that is going to ship anytime soon will be Qui-Gon, and that should ship in May or at the end of May. But the other ones are all on pre-order, and they should show up November, December, and then January.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the Qui-Gon then. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
You don't get into that, do you, Mr. Rum?
Micronauts, if I could remember correctly, were late 70s, a little bit before my time. So my collecting really started early 80s onwards, and I think the Micronauts. Yeah, no, I never got into that line at all. It's before my time, I'm afraid. Mego, I think, and probably mid to late 70s. I think they are, but I see them occasionally at toy fairs, and I do like the look of them, but it doesn't hold any sentimental value to me, to be honest.
See, I think I have one in my collection and a little race car that goes with them, and it's just the example. Yeah, I don't plan on getting the line or doing anything really more with it. It was just, I remember seeing them when I was a kid. I remember someone had them. I don't know if it was us or a neighbor or a friend. So I messed with them a couple times, but I was like, I've got one in my collection to have that memory with me, and I'm satisfied with that.
I like the designs because some of them are translucent, aren't they, with or translucent limbs and stuff. I think I might be wrong there. I do like translucent toys.
Some of them did, yeah. Some of them did, yeah. Have translucent. I really liked the translucent toys too. That's why I've got all the translucent adventure people up here, because those were just awesome. Those blue, see-through blue characters were just so cool.
I love Tron, so those figures are really cool.
They look good on the shelf, so store needs some cool items that they hope people won't buy for ridiculous. Yeah, Godzilla brings people in the store. Yeah, that's true. You know.
I've just bought some stuff from Left Coast, actually. He's made some really cool enamel pins of Jabba the Hutt with a little Salacious.
Yep.
So I love buying from creators like Left Coast. Really creative stuff that you can't get elsewhere. So
yeah, I got to hook up and buy a Yoda from him. I keep thinking of it. Every stream I think of it, and then I forget to get in contact with him. Yeah, that's Wednesday, right? Yeah, I can't wait. It did surprisingly. It showed up. My dad was like, "Hey, check this out! It's on the Stock Channel." He watches Squawk Box and all that and they were showing it because apparently it made $121 million over the Friday, Saturday, Sunday worldwide at the box office, and they were like the only other movie was Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman made $122 million in the 3 days. So they're basically tied.
Oh, wow.
You know, King Kong versus Godzilla tied Wonder Woman as the best opening weekend 3-day thing in the worldwide, you know.
Well, when you think about it, John, it's really a story about monkey lizards.
Right? you got it. Yeah. A giant monkey lizard.
Exactly. See, we're the best.
Monkey lizard right around Bob's place. Oh yeah.
Oh, they are a nightmare. Living with monkey lizards is tough, I tell you that. I tell you one thing about monkey lizards. They always want to be the center of attention, so you have to just deal with that. That's just the way they are. They always want attention. They're messy. They're always causing havoc. They're practical jokers, but they are kind and friendly at heart if you treat them well.
Jesse's here. Good to see you, Jesse.
Hi, Jesse.
Oh, do they leave the toilet seat up or down?
Oh, they're not domesticated like that. They pee everywhere.
He's got newspaper in the corner. They just go.
Yeah, they just go. They just go.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'll put my dad in storage. You're right. Good idea. That's funny. Everyone's saying hello again. Meal replacement shakes. Good morning. Hello. Oh, usual Mike's here. Look at this. There we go. Hey, Mike. How you doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Mr. Unusual Mike.
In-depth look at the Hot Toys, Brandon. Yeah, we're
I'll
all
be
going to look forward to that one.
Yeah, he's making everyone jealous with these hot toys. That's one thing I've never gone down. Never gone down that road. So I'm going to live through Brandon's joy. I think on this hot toy run.
You might know this guy, Salacious. I don't know.
Who is it?
Do you know this? There's this character called Vern. Have you ever met that guy? I don't know.
Never heard of him.
Only one.
Hello,
only one. Well, if it isn't.
well, if it isn't the infamous Salacious Rum. Only one keeps reminding me that when he's popped into my stream and he leaves a message, I never say the whole message properly. So just like to apologise live on air now. I'm very sorry, Only One. And so is Little Salacious. I'm not sorry at all. I think it's funny.
I think Bad Batch starts after Winter Soldier's done.
May the 4th.
Yeah, May the 4th. Is that what it is? Okay.
Is it? Wow.
They're doing a Tuesday, and then the second episode is on a Friday.
Oh, Tuesday, Friday that week. Okay.
Yep. And then Fridays.
Paul's Collectibles here too. Hello, Paul. Paul Baker's here too. Hello, Paul Baker. The Hasbro Vader helmet because of Brandon's great review. Look at that, Brandon. You're selling helmets. He shows off his Hot Toys. But Paul's got some Sideshow, if I remember right. So he's already delved into some of those expensive figures. So celebrities in the stream. Look at that.
You mean me, Rosaf, leader of the Quackian Monkey Lizard Army?
So speaking of Obi-Wan Kenobi and everything, let's add this to the stream here.
Yep.
What'd you guys think of this lineup of great characters? Obi-Wan Kenobi, of course. We got Hayden Christensen back for Anakin Skywalker. And then you got Baru and Lars, right? Which you got the autograph of, Brandon.
Yes, we're good with that.
He's got Baru's autograph there.
Thanks to Chris, 1000th Ghost.
Well, that's just shot up in value now she's returning.
Right, there you go.
Yes.
Well, they let her keep the hair. I mean, look at that nice hair she's got.
Yeah. But it's great that Joel is coming back because obviously when they filmed the prequels, he was just an up-and-coming actor. No one really, he didn't have many credit. Didn't have many credits to his name. So I'm hoping he gets a good part and he gets some scenery to chew on at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like I was saying just before we went live that I didn't realize that he was was Lars because he's actually a big actor now. Fairly big.
For sure.
Some really good stuff. And what's her name here? The girl. She's been in a lot of sci-fi stuff I've seen recently.
Oh, Indira. Yeah, she's
Indira.
She's fantastic.
Game of Thrones.
That's it. You're right. Game of Thrones. Yeah.
She's a British actor. And Sung, who played Han in Fast and the Furious, he's awesome.
And the Furious here, yeah.
So it looks interesting.
Great character. Yeah, there's some good guys in here.
Rupert Friend was in Homeland.
Oh yeah, okay. Yep.
So yeah, really excited, and they haven't said the one person that's not on there is Ian McDermott. So are we going to get? Are they going to keep that quiet? Are we going to get Palpatine? I hope we do, or at least in the background somewhere.
Yeah, I hope we do. Me too. I hope we do. Revoltech Star Wars figures, huh?
I haven't, but Vern has. So Salacious was a bit rude about Oakhurst Studios when you put his banner up. Oakhurst Studios, Vern is an absolute gent. One of my colleagues on the Free Men and the Monkey Lizard, and he's a brilliant stop motion animator, and he's got an amazing collection. Here he is, and he's got one of those Revoltech figures. They're quite cool, I think.
I'll have to look that up.
I haven't got any.
I don't have any either, so some type of alien, yeah. Wonder if Simon Kessel will do any running.
You joker, you.
He's all, yeah. That could be. You're right. He could do an alien and be voicing, yeah. Wow, nice. Cool.
No way, that's nuts. Well, all of that stuff is just increased in value, and now she's returning. So
yeah, Krennic. He shows up. That'd be funny.
That would be cool. Oh, he says awful. There you go. There's
Wooer.
first.
There you go. He could be Wooer in the bar.
Haha.
Oh no.
We don't want to get into that, Mr. David.
Ooh, Sherrod Het. That would be awesome. I'd like to see any of those Clone Wars era Jedi showing up. I just think it would be so cool. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to pop off for a second. That was the garage calling saying that they think my car is all good and it'll only be $400 versus the $2,000.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's good job.
It's always a good call when it's a lot less than you thought. Yeah.
And I was like,
it's heart-wrenching when you get those big bills from the garage, isn't it? It's like, was not planning that at all. It's unexpected expenditure that you've got to suddenly find.
Right.
Yay, Brandon.
Yeah.
Everyone could tell that really. I mean, obviously, that got you down, didn't it, the other day when you had that bill?
It really did. I was not in a good mood.
They're all saying more money for hot toys.
Oh no.
Do you have a fairly newish car? Like
it
because like at what point would you say, like, because for me, if I had a $2,000 repair bill, I would start questioning, is it new car time or just like do I pay this $2,000 bill, you know?
No, I have a 2012 Mazda 3, but it's like the Grand Touring Edition with like the bows and the leather seats and stuff. So it's still worth like 10, 11 grand.
So it's worth fixing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. I've only had it for 2 years. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's found money now.
Nope.
Jinx.
He's a pusher, that Mr. Ghost.
Right. Yeah.
Plastic pusher.
So is there something you guys are looking for? Do you have something on the radar? It's the next item you want to grab. I mean, something out of the ordinary. Maybe, I mean, obviously there's a few Black Series coming down the road we want to try to get, you know, but I mean, like something special. Anything you got in mind? Like, I know you got your Hot Toys, Brandon. You got those coming down the road.
Yeah, I'm going to chill for a little bit.
Yeah. Any more helmets in the plan?
I've got a couple on the way, but I'm not going to order anything else.
Gotcha.
I don't think.
I really would. After seeing Paul's collection, I really would like to have a Stormtrooper, a Biker Scout, and a Hoth. The Hoth Stormtrooper. So someday, I mean, maybe once a year in the next 3 years, I'll pop. Yeah. Because they're those ones that the website that he clued me into. Those guys they do a really good job. Oh, what was it? The
EFX?
Was it New Image or something new? Where did I put my phone? There were the prop store people. Oh. It wasn't EFX. It was a UK company that they're on their own.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of them.
Yeah. But they looked really, really good, and I won't spend time looking it up right now. I'd have to search for a while.
Yeah.
You Salacious? Bob, either one?
Yeah, there's always stuff we're on the lookout for, and I've just bought some fairly unusual stuff. I've got into the Polish bootleg line, so I've started collecting those, and they're not they're not cheap, to be honest. So I recently got my first G1 Polish bootleg figure. So I've started down that road, and also I do collect graded vintage figures, and these let me just move it here. These crumbs that we were talking about earlier in their baggies, the most mass-produced vintage toy you can get. You can literally, they're worthless. You know, the crumb in a bag is literally worth a couple of pounds because they made so many of them. However, there are variants out there that are quite rare and quite hard to get, and so I've just bought 3 variants from the States that are AFA graded that cost quite a bit of money. One of them is Crumb, and he's got no painted beak, so he's beakless. The other one I've got, which is graded, again has got no painted eyes. And these are all factory areas because they're still sealed in their bags.
Yeah.
And then the other one, he's got half-size ears.
Oh, that's a weird one. Yeah.
So whenever you go to toy fairs and you see vendors with boxes of sealed baggy crumbs, it's worth looking through them to see if you can find any variants, because the variants are worth quite a bit of money.
I never thought of that. Yeah, you're right.
Cool.
So there's that.
We're going to watch the Pulse Fan Fest on April 9th. If I'm home, I probably will. I don't know.
I'll be at work, but I'll keep an eye on it.
Mark says that's why I don't have a car, because he buys too many toys.
Oh, it's a rabbit hole. That. Do you collect any of those Hot Toys, John?
No, I don't. But when they do another Yoda, I'm not going to get the one that already exists because it's up $400, $500, $600. But when they do another one, if it's around $200 or less, I'll jump on that. Because especially with the payment plan, you split it up between 4 months payment. Yep, I could handle that. But Yoda would be the only character I would ever get to put in the Yoda cabinet that's behind me, because it's like floor to ceiling Yoda, and moving over this way now, that's all Yoda stuff hanging up too. So there's a good. I mean, everybody always goes, "You got like 1,000 Yoda things," but I counted it one day, and there's really only about 500 Yoda things. It's not really 1,000 yet.
Only 500.
Yeah, there's only about 500 Yoda items in there. But what surprises me, like I was saying on another stream, like people are always saying that they feel like I'm difficult to buy for, but I'm like, no, if you just get a Yoda item, you'd be shocked. Like whenever someone sends me something with Yoda on it, and I open the box, I'm like, I've never seen this before. Like the other day, I just found a Yoda 8-ball. You know, you shake the 8-ball and ask it a question. I didn't know there was a Yoda 8-ball. You know, and I found it at a flea market. You know,
that was from Burger King.
Was it a Burger King thing?
Cool. Yeah. So I got a few of those. Yeah.
Well, it ends up landing on an edge every single time. It won't land flat, so I can't read it. But so it's damaged. But I was like, whatever. I can still put it in the cabinet, you know. And but it's just like I said. There's so many things with Yoda on it. Like even I think it was John Boldry that sent me another Pez dispenser of Yoda, and it's different than the ones I already have. So I mean, so far there's 3 or 4 different Pez dispensers. So even if it's something that I might already have, a lot of times it's a variation on what I already have, you know? So like, I'm just amazed that there's like almost an infinite number of stuff with Yoda's face on it, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's lucky and also a curse. Collecting monkey lizard stuff there isn't much. So you're literally scraping the barrel to find Salacious Crumb stuff.
Hi, Mikey. I just use a lot of lights from different angles so that you can get rid of all the shadows. You know, like a light from above, 2 lights on each side, maybe a light straight on. I mean, I do that in my collecting room. Like I turn off a lot of these lights, but there's another light up there. There's another light over there, and there's a light right in front of me. that I turn off when I do the live streams, but they're all on so that every corner of this room has no shadows. And it's like because I don't like I want it all lit up so I can see everything that's on display, you know. And I actually have 2 more lights out that I'm gonna mount on the walls. I got these light fixtures that screw into the wall, and I'm gonna add more lighting in here.
That's something I need to learn about when I do move, because my lighting setup in this flat is horrendous. So my footage always has shadows all over it. But yeah, there's a real art to it, isn't there?
Yeah. That's for it. Being a real petrol head, do you have a Austin? Have you ever had an Aston Martin? Salacious Bob.
Well, the car.
Like any of them, yeah.
Oh God, no! I'm not rich enough to own an Aston Martin. God, no. So no, not even. I've not even come close to being able to own an Aston Martin. God, no. No, I don't really want to get into it too much because I don't want to get doxxed by someone. But I am a fan of Japanese imports, so I do. I have been known to mod, especially in my Boy Racer days, to do a bit of modding on Japanese Nissan imports. So, but
that's it.
But no, I couldn't afford a proper car like an Aston Martin. No,
because don't they always say you're not a true petrol head until you've owned one? Just to
very few of us ever become petrol heads then, because that's a small band of people that get to own one of those.
Or do I have the car wrong? My brother might correct me on that one. I might have the make wrong. Pays respects. New image props. Yeah, that was the one that I was trying to come up with. Crumb print. He's on a table, so I have 2 crumbs to choose from. My NECA cartoon Donatello has a rare variant missing paint apps on his left knee. It probably is.
Probably. I think.
Yeah.
For collectors, like John just described, didn't he? How he's now going after variants. So a variant will be worth something to a collector out there for sure.
Too fast, furious.
So when I was.
Go ahead, John. Brandon. Sorry, go.
You know when I was opening that package earlier, and I said it was just socks? I'm really upset because they sent it in a bag, but it's the Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, and
you could probably bend that back. Oh no.
It's slightly open. Oh no.
Yeah, that's an opener.
Yeah. Well, I open everything, but it's like if I weren't somebody who, like, if I didn't open these,
I'd be so annoyed.
You think that they'd have a selection on it where you can choose which type of packaging you want it in. Like, even though I opened these, I'd still would have preferred to select a boxed. That way it, didn't show up damaged.
Now that's the vintage collection one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Mine haven't showed up yet. That's cool. Hopefully that means they'll be showing up soon.
Well, yeah, I'm still waiting until probably June for my Black Series Return of the Jedi Boba.
Pique me an offer. Riker. Yeah, so did you answer that question, Salacious? Was there something you're looking forward to coming up that you want to get?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, like I said, I've just bought these variants that have cost me quite a bit.
That's right. Yeah.
There's always stuff that I'd like. I know, stealing a bit from Shabby, but I never ever had an Imperial shuttle. So that's always been on my list. The Tidarium shuttle one day. Anything else? I'm a bit of a spontaneous buyer, John, to be honest. If I see something and it's there, I grab it. And I'm one of those, we're slowly coming out of the lockdown now, so I can't wait to get back to the car boot sales and the toy fairs. And if I go to a boot sale and I see something with Star Wars on it, or He-Man, if I see something, I can't leave it behind.
Yeah,
I always say that. I can't leave you behind if it's cheap, and so I take it. So, so nothing too special. Hey, dude!
You might know this guy too. Look at that.
Hey, dude! Thanks for stopping by.
Toys of the Jedi. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hello.
Because for me, it's been like, so I got this recently. And Monkey-in.
Yes, I've got him. He's
cool.
I don't have the weapon. I don't have the weapon, but yeah, he's cool.
And Mumra in his mummy form with his little weapon, and the Vulture Man with his weapon. So this one lady had all these guys, these villains, and I got a really good deal on bundling them together and buying them as a lot.
Yeah.
And but there was someone else there, and he got all the heroes. Like she had Panthro, and the prices were astronomical. I mean, like Panthro with his weapons unbroken and still together, like can be upwards of $70 to $100. And I think when you broke down what the guy paid for those, he probably only paid maybe $30 a figure. And I got the heroes for a little less than that, so it worked out for both of us. But I was just sitting there going, I'm never going to see those heroes for that price again. That's just so crazy. But when I got home, I had to order Slithe off of eBay to have all the villains. Because I was like, I can't have the other guys without Slithe. So I found a Slithe on eBay and got him. But it's a similar thing. It's like, I've always had Lion-O and the beefy, muscular version of Mumra, and that was my Thundercats example, because I kind of did a similar thing where what was it? Dark was saying in here, getting like one of each thing, and for a long time that's what my collection was. It was mostly Star Wars, Transformers, G.I. Joe, and stuff. And then I had two mask vehicles. I have 2 Thundercats characters, 2 Silverhawks characters. I had 1 Air Raiders thing, and it was like, so I had an example of everything I collected as a kid. But now I'm going through each thing. Like I went through mask and got almost every mask I would want. There's 2 cars I will still want to track down. And I went through Air Raiders and found some boxed Air Raider stuff because it's still relatively inexpensive. And then when I saw these, I was like, oh, I could get all the villains for really cheap compared to what I see normally with their weapons. So I grabbed them. It was one of those spur of the moment, I got to get these. And then I got Slithe. And now I'm like, well, now that I have the bad guys, I might go back and get Panthro and Chitara. And, it's like, and I got to get the Snowman of Hook Mountain because he was one of my favorite characters in the cartoon.
The Burbills, the bears, are my favorite from Thundercats, and I didn't tell Brandon this, but when I love Ewok, so I'm a mad Ewok collector, and then I thought, I've got to find some other bears that can go with the Ewoks. The Thundercat Burbills, Brandon, you should hunt those down because they're cool robotic murder bears from the Thundercats line,
but. Don't buy them from a collector. They're really expensive.
They are expensive.
Find them somewhere at a boot sale or something.
Yeah.
Hope you find them somewhere else because they're crazy. They can be crazy expensive.
Yeah. Snarf's cool as well, isn't he?
Yeah. And I've been slowly going through the Stariors because I got the giant playset battle station, and I found a guy was selling carded ones. Usually I see carded Stariors go for like $70, $80, but he gave me 3 of them for $100. So that basically worked out to $33 each.
Wow.
And I'm like, so that's like less than half price of what I normally see carded Stariors going for. So I grabbed those, and it got me on the Star Wars kick. So now I've got 2 of the figures loose I found online, and and it's like I'm gonna get at least the 3 good guys and the 3 bad guys and put them with the base, from the first series, and put them with the base, and that'll look like a cool display. And then I got my first. He's in this little spot over here. My first Sectar is back in the collection. My brother and I had Sectars when we were kids, and
that's a cool line.
I really want to get more of those, but and then Visionaries. I don't have any. I've got 1 or 2 Visionaries that don't have any equipment. It's just a figure with nothing, and then I've got a couple of staffs that are that don't belong to those guys, but they belong to different guys that are in my parts bin. So I want to get into Visionaries again and get some more, but every time I see them, they're expensive. Like they had a whole bunch of them at Bits and Buttons, that store I just did a video on. But he wanted like $60 each. They were $55 to $60, and they were all loose.
Yeah.
So I'm going, I can't spend that much for a loose figure. And and if you want to get the collection, it's like you're sitting there staring at it, going, if I get all 5 of the good guys, and I'm like, there's $500, $600, like you got to spend to get everybody. No, I can't do that. It's like.
So there was a period in the 80s where holograms got really popular, Brandon, and apologies if you know this already, but and then they started mixing holograms with figures, and I think the Visionaries and the Supernaturals, I think, is the other line.
Yeah.
And then also the Marvel's Secret Wars, they put holograms on their shields, and we were just going hologram mad. So I love the Supernaturals and the Visionaries, but yeah, getting the figures complete, they can be quite pricey for sure.
I've had a few Supernaturals that I found at garage sales or things, and I always end up selling them on. I just get them from the garage sale for cheap, and then I put them on my eBay store and get rid of them, because I've just I can't get over how there's no articulation, really. They're almost just like a block of plastic with a stick, and there's no face. They just have it stuck on their body. Like, I know there's like a part that clips over it, right? That makes them look like something, and then that comes off and that reveals the hologram, right?
Yeah, and often you only find the top half of the body at a boot sale. So I've got 3 or 4 top half of their bodies only, missing their legs and stuff. But they're quite cool anyway. They also around that time were giving away Dungeons and Dragons hologram cards in boxes of cereal in the UK, and I love trying to track down those. They're quite fun to collect.
Snarf. Snarf. Never seen them. Only seen 2 Mazingers and the Better Robo and Godzilla. Oh, nice. From an arm shoot. Yeah, they would just go. With the Japanese, yeah. See, like, I have a feeling that if I did get the Shogun Warriors Godzilla, I would then want some of the Shogun Warrior robots, because I've got all the comic books. I've got some mini Shogun Warriors that are like this big that are up next to my Power Ranger stuff over there, and with the Voltron and other robot toys like that. And I just know I'd be like, because I remember we had a robot and Godzilla, or we had Godzilla and a friend of ours had a robot. But I remember one of those with the big yellow horns, and he shot a fist off or something too, and he had missiles or something, didn't he? I think he had a missile that shot out of his arm or something. And I was just, I'm like, I know I'm gonna be like, I gotta have one of those robots now too,
What was the cartoon? You were on a stream about 7 months ago, John, and I think it was a Pally Boy stream, and I was in the chat, and I told you about a cartoon, and then you went away and bought the figure, and I'm forgetting what the cartoon was called. It was the robot that disconnects into different vehicles, and it had a puppet. It was a puppet cartoon, and Brian May did a soundtrack to it. I can't remember what it's called. But then the following week, you went out and bought the whole robot. I can't remember what it's called. Do you remember that?
You sure I bought it, or was it Mark that got
Yeah,
that?
no, it was definitely you. It was definitely you. What was it called?
Where did I put that? Where did I put that?
I'll have a think. I'll try and remember the name. Once I remember the name, it will come to you. You'll remember it. Because remember, you went out and bought it. There aren't many toys made from it.
I'm looking around at the different robots that have recently, trying to see if I can. Yeah, he's not in view. So, well, it'll come to us. Hopefully, it'll come to us.
Yeah.
It's not about how they move. It's about how much you played with them or the memories. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, right. Yeah.
For sure.
Dirty Varmint. That's the who I was thinking of before. He was mentioning those things. Grandizer. Yeah, I remember Grandizer. Do you guys have any like Japanese robot things or any of that kind of stuff in your collections?
Sofubi. So I'm a big fan of Sofubi and Ultraman and just cheap Japanese toys because a lot of the Japanese stuff is really expensive to import. But I love getting the vinyl figures. So I bought this is for Vern actually. I just haven't posted it to him yet. He's crazy. Awesome. Yeah, look at him. He's got like claw hands. Look,
he looks like he's got cloud pants and shoes on, man.
I know. And these are just, there's no articulation in these. They're just cheap vinyl. But the character designs are just nuts.
Those are those vinyl kaiju line stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and then these Ultramen are quite cool. Here's King Ultraman. Yep. And I love how the vinyl is slightly translucent in the light. So those are for Vern actually, but I have got a collection of those in storage somewhere.
I remember Captain Scarlet, but I can't place it right now. I remember the name. I remember hearing that name.
Yeah, Jerry Anderson.
Watched it somewhere. Is it a Jerry Anderson? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Jerry Anderson.
They show a lot of those on Shout Factory, and I have my television in the living room. It's set to Shout Factory TV 24/7. And one day, like, because each day of the week they do a different thing. Like one day is MST3K, it's just 24/7 MST3K, and then the next day it's all Jerry Anderson stuff, and then the next day it's like they play UFO and Space 1999 and stuff like those old sci-fi. Logan's Run, like these old sci-fi shows, 24 hours that day, and then Sunday is always Super Sentai Sunday, so it's all the Power Rangers and stuff, and cool. And they have an Ultraman day, like where it's just like all Ultraman, and I think they mix Ultraman with Kamen Rider, stuff like that, you know.
Kamen Rider, yeah.
Yeah. So it's always like neat because like when I turn the TV on, there's always something interesting that I haven't seen before, or haven't seen before, or haven't seen in a long time. And I'll be like, I'll watch it for a few minutes, and then okay, I gotta go on to what I was planning on doing, you know.
To be totally honest, we didn't get a lot of those shows in England growing up. It's only since I'm an adult that I've got to like find out and watch a lot of that old stuff back. So, but I love those old crazy Godzillas. Godzilla films. They're quality.
Gurren Lagann. Huh, cool. That'll be neat to see. Yeah, Mark did a good video on that stuff. Great man singer, Grandizer. Starfleet.
Oh, Starfleet. That was it. Starfleet X Bomber. Now, we were talking about that on the stream, and I'm sure, John, you went off and you bought a Starfleet X Bomber. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
It's got to be somewhere around here.
And I was like, I cannot believe you've just bought that, because I was going on about it the week before. I know. I haven't posted them yet. I'm sorry, Vern. Vern is a beautiful. I was joking before. Vern is an absolutely beautiful man. All of the men and Sean, Sean, Dude, and Vern are such lovely guys. And Vern has printed me some 3D printed some Salacious Crumb figures for me. So I got him a couple of these Sofubis, but I keep playing with them and making videos with them. I'm doing a Darth Mark before sending them out to him.
Yeah, I had Sean on. Was it last week or last week? And I want to get Vern and Dude's Nerdery there. Dave, right? Dave, Dude's Nerdery. I want to get them both on at some point in the future. So, because I like, they're all really good guys, and I've known them for a long time. It seems like at least this whole year,
Yeah, that's right.
We're all chatting back in the beginning, about March time frame, So we've been chatting and following each other for a long time. It seems like, and Vern and I have traded figures. I found stuff he needed, he found stuff I needed. So that's what I really like about a lot of the people in this community, and Vern especially, that, we can trade stuff, like, you need this one, I found one, here you go, oh, I need that one too. And, and you help each other out finding this stuff. And it's really cool that,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Collectors helping collectors.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Cicada.
And I love learning about all the lines that you guys are talking about that, like, I wasn't around for. Like, I mean, I was born in '95, so a bunch of that stuff,
Yeah.
I didn't even know about it. So when you guys are talking about it, I'm looking it up and looking at them. And, I grew up with Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, Power Rangers, like that kind of stuff. Besides, the movie franchises.
That's what we love. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm in addition to Star Wars, like, and my Transformers, Transformers counts as this. I love my giant robots, and I love mechanized things, and it's like I'm just rooting for the day that we can all, instead of getting into our car and going to work, we could get into a battle mech and just I'm going to Walmart for groceries. It's just like, that's what I want to drive to work,
Have you seen the full-size Gungan that they made that they have, John?
No, a full-size Gungan? No.
Have you not seen that? Hold on, you've got to search for that now.
Actually, no, I think I've seen like a statue of Jar Jar Binks, like they did with the Stormtroopers and Darth Maul. I think I've seen that thing.
No, this is honest to God, search for this, please, John, because there's a video. This is a life-size Gungan that moves. Not Gungan, sorry, Gundam.
Gundam. Oh yes,
he's in the life-size. Yeah,
that I have seen. Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry.
That's actually at one of the.
Did I say Gungan?
You said Gungan, like Jar Jar Binks. Yeah, but
Sorry.
So here I am thinking of some animatronic Gungan, like, I'm Easter coming to get groceries.
Well, that would be cool as well.
But no, I have seen that. That's actually at one of the Gundam factories where they built them, and. Yeah, he actually can move now. He can step out of this little.
Yeah, there's a new one. There's a new one that they've just launched, which is just crazy.
He's like, ouch, born in '95. But see, I like this stuff, Gary, because it gives us a different perspective. I'm sure you appreciate it as well, Gary. I don't mean to say, but like Brandon gives us a different perspective that I so appreciate, because. Like, coming from, I'm 48 now, and it's like, so born in 73. So my perspective is all from old trilogy, and then appreciating the sequels from a different light, where Brandon, that's what he grew up with. The sequels are his movies,
Prequels, yeah.
Prequels, yes. So,
but I still appreciate the old stuff.
Yeah. So it's kind of a neat, I really enjoy talking to him about this generational difference. which really isn't that much of a difference when you boil it down either, you know, because we do love the same things, you know what I mean? Right. But we sometimes do come at it from a different angle, you know, which is kind of cool.
And I really exposed to different stuff than I was.
Yeah.
Brandon's the little brother that we can all push stuff onto. Although in reality, I think Brandon would tower over me. 6'3" or 4", aren't you, Brandon?
Yeah, 6'3".
So
yeah, Brandon's taller than me.
Yeah, I'm going in with Brandon if there's a skirmish at the Star Wars convention.
He's a good one to hide behind.
Yeah.
Universal Cemetery Gundam. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I say life-size Gungan?
Yeah.
I'm gonna rewatch this stream and cringe.
What would be really funny though is if you had said something instead of life size, if you had said, "Did you see the 50-foot tall Gungan?" You know, we would have been what? Like a 50-foot Gungan, you know? Yeah. You know, in a certain sense, like the 80s was like this gem for movies, for toys. Like the 80s had all this really cool stuff. But in a certain sense, because of the resurgence of all this nostalgic stuff in the last, 5 to 10 years, we've had another one of those glory day periods for the last 5 or 10 years that, I have a feeling that, if you skip ahead another 40 years, people in that time frame are going to look back at the 2010 to 20 period and be like, wow, did you see all those great films that came out? There were so many classics, especially with all the Marvel movies and things like that.
Yeah.
And then all these toy lines like Black Series Vintage Collection, and you're getting all these great toy lines that come out when you can find the figures. But, and I think people are going to look back fondly on this period the same way we now look fondly upon the 80s. And it can't be said for like the early 2000s, because even 20 years later we look back at the early 2000s and go, what the heck was everybody doing? It's all junk. The movies are terrible, the toys were terrible. It was like, so it's kind of funny that I don't think there's too much that redeems the early 2000s.
To be honest, John, that's why I struggle to get really negative about things, because like we're in a period now where they're making Han Solo films.
Yeah,
the toys are unbelievable. I mean, I know you struggle to get them, but 6-inch Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, and soon they're going to announce Salacious Crumb, a Star Wars story, which is just going to blow everyone away. So that'll probably be the first movie in history to break 200 million on the very first day. It's going to be unbelievable. You're a wise man, John. You're a wise man. You know your stuff. You know your stuff. You know a good bet when you see it.
Hey, Scuba's here now. Yeah. Evening,
hey, Scuba.
Friends. Evening, friends. Oh, the book's in the other room. Did you see that G.I. Joe book I just got, Scuba? I left it in the other room. I should have brought it in here. Darn it. It has, and I didn't even know there was 1,200 G.I. Joe figures.
Wow.
That original style. The original style with the rubber bands. Okay. When you include the guy who did this book, he took a picture of every single figure, every single variant of the figures. Jeez. And each time they were released, and it turns out that if you were to try and collect every figure with every variant, every different weapons pack he came with, like all this different stuff, you would have 1,259 figures for G.I. Joe, the classic stuff. It's like unbelievable. And this guy has a picture of every single one with every single accessory in this book I found. And I was just blown away looking through it. I could not believe it.
You know what? I have to go grab some stuff because I need to talk to people who know more about this kind of stuff than I do. So I'll be...
All right.
Well, leave us intrigued.
They're all saying... I go see it. I hear a movie, he'd go see it.
Yep.
1,259 Joes. Yeah,
Wow.
It's crazy. When you include all the variants, there was some of them have like 5 or 6 variants on the figure too, and some of them aren't just paint variants. It's like they used it like for the first like A and B run, they used one chess piece, and then for the C, D, and E runs, they used a different chess piece, but they're painted very much the same. So the figure at first glance looks the same, but or they changed the waist out on a guy, so there's like 2 different variants of the character where his waist is different. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it wasn't until I was looking at the pictures that I've been like, I've never noticed that there's 2 different Snake Eyes with 2 different waists, like, wow, this is pretty cool. Now I'm going to have to look every time I see a Snake Eyes at which waist he has, and stuff like that. It's just amazing.
So I've seen this before, and I saw that Shabby got it not that long ago. And I believe everything is still in there. And then I didn't realize they made an Attack of the Clones one with her different outfits.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But, I mean...
the paper doll things, yeah.
Yeah, this is from my grandma. She just had a bunch of stuff, and she's like, I don't know what this is worth. But she said, if you know any of your friends that know this kind of stuff, and Superman Red, Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I had no idea that existed. And then the
Man of Steel, yep.
So,
that could be. Is that when he was electric? Is he? I think there was a time where he turned into electricity and could travel through. Well, that looks like Fire Superman. Okay, I don't know. That might be right after the electric stuff.
Okay, and then
is that a Sergeant Slaughter? I can't tell. Does the hat come off? No, don't yank it off if it doesn't come off easy.
But I don't even know what these are.
That might be a Lanyard one.
Or a corpse.
Is it a corpse? Corpse, yeah.
I'm not familiar enough with G.I. Joe to be able to say if it is or not, to be honest.
Yeah, they're not. I don't think those are G.I. Joe.
Okay.
I think they're different.
Is there a manufacturer's mark on them?
Wow, that one looks familiar though. That one does look familiar. You know what you're going to have to do is snap a picture of each one and send it to me in the Twitter feed or whatever, and I'll look in that book I just got and see if I can find them. Because they could be later. They could be like, 92 or something.
1990
Lanyard, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Then they're corpse. They're probably corpse figures.
Yeah.
CORPS.
Yeah. Okay. I had no idea what those were. So thank you.
Well, I think I called that, to be honest, didn't I?
Yeah, that was a good one. You did,
the little monkey did called it.
Yeah. I think he called it first. You're right. Yeah, he was blue and then red electric. Yeah. Superman there. So I want to say those are late 90s, early 2000s. The first page, somewhere in there, you should see a title, like a title page in the inside of the comic.
Okay, this one is number 78, April 98.
98, okay.
And this is the March one of 98.
Gotcha. So it's on the cover. Okay.
So it's 77 and 78.
Yeah. They're probably not worth much more than cover price, to be frank.
Right.
But
yeah. I just thought they were cool because I had never seen them.
Yeah, they're good to keep, and I mean, if you read one and you like it, it'd be good to find the rest of the story because I bet it continues in the next issue. So because a story arc in comics usually lasts 4 or 5 issues.
Mm-hmm.
So you rarely get that. Sometimes you'll get a one issue thing that in between stories where it's one and done, but you rarely get that. A lot of times it's 4 or 5 issues to make one complete story.
Right.
So you're always like when you come upon one or two comics, you're always like, oh, I got the middle of the story. I didn't get the beginning one or the end. I got to find the other two or three, around those numbers. Pacifist, Big Jim, yeah.
Have you ever gone down the comic grading route, John? I know you've got an insane comic collection. Have you ever got any graded or bought any graded?
No, I don't own any graded comics, and I have not got any. I don't buy graded comics. But I would consider, there's one or two comics that I've considered selling because I've got duplicates of them.
Oh.
And one of them, like Spider-Man number 300, I've got 3 copies of Spider-Man number 300. That was the first appearance of Venom, like in the form of Venom, Yeah. So it's now starting to get where if I sold it alone, I could probably get $400 or $500 for it. But if I graded it and it came out, I know that these, like, all of them are perfect. They're absolutely mint, and they probably would get high 9s, 8.5 to 9, no matter, like, no question. So graded, they would probably be $1,000 or more, But the problem I have is I'm scared of sending it in the mail to the grading places because I just have this wicked fear that it's going to show up and they're going to be like, yeah, it showed up torn in half. No, because every time I've sold something on eBay recently that's been more than $100, the recipient always says it's broken or it's been torn in half or something's wrong. And like we sold my brother's iPhone that was a while ago, but then the guy claimed it was broken. I sold my hyper real Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker together as one set. And when the person received it, he claimed it was busted in half. The leg was broke off. And it's like, no, it was brand new. They were brand new. I took them out of the box, did a review, and put them back in the box. There was absolutely no way they were broken when they arrived. You know what I mean? Like, but the way eBay works is they're like, well, he can send them back, but he needs to get his money back either way. So it's like you end up giving the money back that they spent, and then you get a broken product in return. And in the back of your mind that the person had a broken one, bought yours to replace his, sent you his broken one, and now you're out. You can't resell it, so you're stuck. So I just have this feeling that's what's going to happen with my $500 comic books. You know what I mean? I'm going to end up losing the comic, losing them, and not getting the money for it. And in return, I'm going to have something that's torn in half. I know it. That's my worst fear.
Since you have 3 copies of it, you could send one off for grading, and then have them come back to me saying it's ripped in half. No, I just can't do it. I can't do it. Because I know that's what they're going to do to me. That's what happens to me all the time. It won't happen to anyone else on this planet, but it will happen to me, Yeah. Oh, taking drinks. Thank God.
Yeah, thirsty.
Yeah, right, yeah.
See you, Josh.
So that was a long answer to your question. Sorry, but
I forgot what you said, John. No, they're locked. Yeah, they're locked.
Yeah,
they're locked and loaded. Once you grade them, they're basically for display or sales, really. Sell them on to get some extra value or stick them on the wall.
Yeah. And for comics, that's the other part of it. Like, I still look through a lot of my comics, even ones that are worth a lot of money. I wear white gloves. You just kind of carefully move each page, and you take really good care of it. But it's like, to have a graded one, I'd be like, I want to flip through it. It's like they're meant to be read. They're meant to be looked at, the artwork and everything. So when you have one graded and sealed in that case, it's almost like, well, you might as well just have the cover sealed in the case, because that's all you're ever going to see is the cover. So,
Yeah, so some of the front covers, though, the art on the front covers are,
classic.
Yeah.
You should try.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I could do it at a convention. That's a good idea, because then you're handing it right to them.
Yeah.
And they're taking a picture of it when you hand it to them. Yeah. That's another option. But see, the only reason I would get it graded is so that I could sell it for the higher price. And then I also would have the problem of where do I sell it? Because I'm definitely not going to sell that on eBay or Mercari or any of those online things because of my experience selling anything that's worth more than $100. I'm telling you, literally everything I've sold for more than $100 on eBay or Mercari has come back as a broken or torn up object because the person on the receiving end always says it's broken or torn up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a running scam on all these things because of the way they do their return policy. Right. Someone owns a broken one and they want a good one, so they buy a good one for $200, whatever it is, and then when they get the good one, they take pictures of the one they owned that was broken and say, this is what I received. And eBay always goes, well, they took pictures of it, that's what they received, so you gotta, and then they pack it up, return it to you, so now they're returning their broken one, keeping your good one, and they've just made the trade for free, and you're stuck with no money and a broken item.
Yeah,
so
they back the buyer, don't they? Not the seller.
So I don't sell anything that's worth that much money anymore on eBay. I just don't do it. So I would never sell a graded comic on eBay or any of the online sales anymore.
You know that Darth Maul Black series that I got that ended up being that hair tie? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They would not refund it because I refused to send it back.
Yeah, you have to send it back. Yeah,
I'm not going to send the hair tie back to China. So, whatever. I just won't buy stuff like that.
That's the thing about, that scares me. I see some of the other guys getting stuff from Taiwan and China and various places, and they come through fine, but I'm always scared that's what's going to happen to me. I'm going to buy it, and it's going to be not what I ordered, and it's kind of like, do you really want to do a whole return to send it all the way back there?
Awesome. I love Jackson. He's funny.
I just read that the other day.
I bought I got three more copies of Star Wars #8 from Marvel show up, and I got one more copy of #9 because of Jackson being recently in the because when they announced the figure, I immediately went on and bought three comics of #8 that were, because that's the first appearance of Jackson in comics, and they were all $10 to $15. So I bought every one that was $10 to $15 and had them shipped to me. And then I found an issue #9, which is his second appearance, and he's in 8, 9, and 10 as a full 3-issue story with Jackson in it. And then I checked just this last couple days, and all of #8 are already at $30, $40 each. They're no longer $10. So they've already jumped 3 or 4 times the price.
Yep.
Yeah, I could just get a table. He's right. Even if you just got 1 or 2 items that are, if they're worth that much, you could just sell it at a comic convention. Yeah. Can't find #9. I swear I had it. So are you guys looking forward to the rest of Winter Soldier and Falcon? Have you been watching it?
Oh, yeah.
Do
you watch that stuff?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm all over it. Yeah, I mean, it's the first couple of episodes have been fine. The dude is really passionate about it. I think the episodes have been fine. It's intriguing. I hear that they're following a storyline out of the comic, and it's more comics accurate. It's not a comic I'm familiar with, so I don't know. But I'm very much interested in it. And see, I'm more interested, I think, in the overall arc of this phase of Marvel. Like, what is the overall arc going to be? This is obviously one small part of that arc, and I don't know. Is it Secret Wars? Is it, I don't know what the overall picture is yet. It's not really been revealed yet. Or maybe Feige's going to be clever and have multiple big arcs going. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for sure, I'm watching all of it. I felt a little bit let down by WandaVision. I really enjoyed watching it, but it's I think it was fairly. Well, I don't know, because you can never tell with these Marvel properties. There might be things that have happened that pay off a lot later on.
Right.
Yep.
So I think it's probably too early to judge these in isolation. You need to judge them at the end of the whole phase, I suppose.
And that's the hard part, is people, they overhyped it and they said that there was going to be a Luke Skywalker level cameo. And I mean, as cool as the White Vision was and stuff like that, and Paul Bettany, getting to work with himself, I think they did themselves a disservice by pumping it up like that, because then people honestly were let down.
I wasn't, but who cares?
I mean, I thought it was cool and I enjoyed it, but I completely understand people that were upset by it.
I thought we were going to get Magneto. I think a lot of people wanted to see, but I think that's probably just over ambitious, isn't it, at this stage? Yeah. So,
well, we were talking on an earlier stream or something, or maybe it was just in one of our chats. But I was just like, I would love to see a thing now. Like, I almost think that at this point, they almost can't bring like some of the characters that we know from the X-Men as the same actors and just have them come through like a time portal or a dimensional gate or something. Because I would like to see the MCU sort of do their own take on the origin of the X-Men, and like having each one of those characters pop into the universe on their own. And like almost like a thing where this thing with Wanda and stuff sort of creates the ability for people to have mutant powers, and it just starts from now.
Or the snap.
Yeah, or the snap.
Maybe it was the snap. But then you can't tell those historic X-Men stories, can you, from like the 60s?
Well, think about it, though. I mean, like, because this is what I was going to get at. Like, imagine if you had a Wolverine story where, like, and I think it'd be perfect thing for Winter Soldier, for someone in the government or someone to overhear that there's these experiments going on in north of Canada, and they send Winter Soldier and maybe Falcon or someone up there to investigate, and they come upon Weapon X Wolverine in that whole facility where he's being created. Like, you could do it from sort of like a different angle in the MCU and tell the entire origin of Wolverine through a proper Weapon X film where he's killing the bear and the wolves are attacking him. He's out there just ripping it apart. And you know what I mean? And he sees some guy in the woods, a lumberjack or some hunter who's out there alone, and the guy oversees this kind of thing and reports it to the authorities or something, and then they'd send up Winter Soldier to investigate, and you just have a slightly different take on that whole thing, and Wolverine faces off as Weapon X faces off against Winter Soldier, and you know what I mean, and like just this crazy odd thing, and then at the end he gets freed, and
how'd you do
he's
Magneto
out there in the wild, you know?
How'd you do Magneto though, and some of the older ones? That's the problem.
True. Yeah, he would. Because difficult to modernize, yeah.
Because isn't the whole point of his story the
World War II? And
exactly.
Yeah.
And if the snap caused the mutant gene, then so I don't know. So is actually some of it going to come from a multiverse story? And some of
you could do that, yeah. Because like maybe his line with Pietro and Magneto, like those guys could cross over.
Yeah,
if those actors want to move over into the new thing. But like, I just don't think Hugh Jackman would want to come back. I mean, he might come back for one to do one with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, because that would just be cool to see the Wolverine Deadpool thing would just be awesome to see. But other than that, I just can't see him coming in for another like 20 films. So you'd have to get someone else to play Wolverine for the next 20 years, you know, and I just think that'd be a cool way to do it, is to have the Weapon X program and have it something that the current teams discover and have to shut down or whatever, you know what I mean? And in that process, Wolverine is set free, but he's out in the jungle running around, or out in the wilderness of the northern Canada, you know, post. Because you could get a proper Weapon X story, and I just think that'd be so cool, because they glaze over it in all the Fox stuff. Like, you get a few flashbacks, but you don't get the full essence, the full story. And I would just love to see a fully fleshed out movie with basically just Weapon X, you know. And
we need a shorter Wolverine though. A Hugh Jackman's too tall. We need a Tom Hardy Wolverine, because he's quite a short guy in real life.
It could work, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy them both.
Watch out, Brandon. Yeah, my brother was telling me that our mother couldn't get into the WandaVision at the beginning. And then, but then when it was all out, like when the whole season was done, and she could actually sit down and watch in a row, like one after another, she got so hooked on it that she binged the whole thing and watched it all in one sitting.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
like
what my mom did.
It's just seems so weird for our parents to binge watch something like and spend the whole day sitting there watching it, and you know, it's like, but she just got addicted to it, you know. And in the end, my brother said she totally loved it, you know. Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, I remember my brother and I talking about that in the beginning, where we were like, because we were seeing the reaction people had to the first 1 or 2 episodes as they came out. And I was like, maybe it was a mistake to do this weekly, because these people clearly don't understand what's going on. They think it's a sitcom, and they're not seeing the little things that are going on in the background, or the little things that are jittering and falling apart. Right. You know, when you see those YouTube videos that were online that are reviewing the first 1 or 2 episodes of WandaVision, it's like these guys have no clue what they're watching, you know, like that. Yeah. And then by the 3rd or 4th episode, those same YouTube channels are suddenly switching gears and going, "Oh my gosh, this is brilliant. Now I get what's going on." And we're like, "Yeah, we told you that in the first one," you know, like. So yeah. I think some people just didn't get what was going on because it was a week. They needed to have 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah, when I told my mom, she wasn't sure if she wanted to watch the.
Was that? That was another Salacious? What are you doing over there?
Yeah, she wasn't sure if she wanted to watch it, but then she sat down and watched it all.
Salacious, what's going on over there?
Oh, sorry. That's Pilly Yum Yum. Don't mind Pilly. Pilly drops in from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we have Bad Batch May 4th.
Oh.
And then we get... Is it Loki after that?
Yes, I think so. They pushed Loki back a little bit, I think.
And then do we get cast the Andor show right after Loki? Is that how it works?
Oh.
There's What If.
What If and then Andor?
Andor must be the next Star Wars property after Bad Batch, mustn't it? Because they haven't even started filming Obi yet, I don't think.
No, they didn't start. And Andor, they showed the filming, they showed the sets. So
there's still leaks showing set scenes now. So
so they're probably still filming Andor.
I think so. There was a set leak shown the other day, excuse me, the other day of that massive set they've created in England. It's it's huge, and you could see stormtroopers in a crowd of people, and so
how far away is that from you guys?
Where is it? I just Google search to find out. I can't remember where it is.
I gotta tell you, if it was within a day's drive for me, like say they were filming something Star Wars within a day's drive, I would go there. I would just have to go there one day just to see if I could get anywhere near it.
It's not a studio set; it's an on-location.
It's outdoors,
set
right?
Yeah, it's an on-location set they've created somewhere. Just find out the filming location, and I'll tell you.
After Bad Batch, I think the next Star Wars thing is Book of Boba Fett, because they're saying that the
really
Andor
the Book of
will be
Boba
released
Fett's supposed to be December, right?
Right, but they're saying that Andor is supposed to be 2022 now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Book of Boba Fett. God, yeah, totally forgot about that.
So we're going to get Loki, What If, and then Book of Boba Fett. So there's going to be a gap somewhere in the summer then, isn't there? Because I was hoping all these would be back-to-back. You know, like Winter Soldier's going to end by the end of April, and then May we get Bad Batch. Then when Bad Batch ends, either Loki or What If was going to start up. But, you know, even if you have Loki, then What If, that's going to take you into like September. So you're going to have October, November as a break before December starts. You know what I mean? So unless there's another show wedged in there that we don't know about.
Filming the Cassian Andor show in Buckinghamshire in a village called Little Marlow, which is basically on the outskirts of London. So London's surrounded by a big motorway, a ring motorway called the M42, and it's just on the north of London, really, in a rural setting. So yeah, I'm in the Midlands.
That's great. You're in the Midlands.
That's good.
Yeah. I really want to see Andor. I'm all for Andor. I think Andor is going to be great.
I'm really excited for it.
And She-Hulk, yeah, it'll be like. I know that Marvel shies away from a standalone Hulk film, but I just think, like, if you add his cast of characters, like that Thor Ragnarok, I thought was brilliant, and it was mostly Thor and Hulk. You know what I mean? So if you just throw one other character in for Hulk to play off of, I think a Hulk movie works. You know, it's just when you have, I don't know, either that or they did those other two. The other two just weren't written right or something. You know.
It was a rights issue, John. So they didn't own the rights to Hulk. It was Universal that owned the movie distribution rights, which is why they never made a solo Hulk film.
Oh, okay.
So all those rights have transferred to Disney now, so they could do one theoretically. But during the first phase, they didn't own the right. They owned the rights for Hulk to appear in an Avengers movie, but they didn't own the distribution rights for a solo Hulk film. Gotcha. So if you see the Eric Bana one was Universal. I think the second one was released by Paramount. Even so, it was that they never. Yeah, it was a rights issue more than anything else. Gotcha. I might be wrong there. I'm happily be called out if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
John Baldry. Ragnarok was best.
I love Ragnarok.
Yeah. Hey, John, how you doing?
Hi, John.
And Mike's thing here. I like this She-Hulk, Matt Murdock courtroom face-off. That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's the other side of it too. Is like, do they bring in those Netflix characters, like as those actors, or do they just totally redo Daredevil? You know, because there's some really good stuff that you could do with the street level characters interacting with Spider-Man and stuff too, because that happened a lot. Daredevil Spider-Man crossovers are a big thing in the comics, you know. So it's like we never got a chance to have any of that stuff.
The Daredevil show I really liked. I liked all of them apart from the what was the the blonde guy? What was the final series about?
Oh, Iron Fist guy.
That was terrible.
I didn't think it was terrible. I liked it, but I guess I'm biased because I'm an Iron Fist fan. So anything that has him, I'm just sort of like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, you've probably got an attachment to the comics, and
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that comic. I couldn't get into that, but I like the other ones, and I like the what's the female investigator? What's her name? She's cool.
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones. She's cool.
That was a good show. Yeah. It's the Iron Fist stuff. Yeah, it was probably just me that liked it, because it is probably that I have more nostalgic feeling for an Iron Fist, that I just want it to be cool, So it's more of just like I want it to be good rather than if it's really good. Because I've got my Iron Fist Marvel Legends over there with the green and yellow. I like the green and yellow costume. But that's the other thing too, is I'd like to. I mean, realistically, Daredevil was the only one that had anything close to his costume, And
yeah,
Power Man there, he kind of. They did like a flashback or something where they showed another, like him breaking out, and he was wearing that original 70s thing, but it was like, otherwise I guess he doesn't really need, because he's done street level clothing for a while, but
they're quite goofy, those costumes though, aren't they? To be able to pull off now. Like the Luke Cage one's quite goofy.
Luke Cage, Power Man, yeah. But They never called him Power Man, did they? He was always just Luke Cage, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But Iron Fist could have had the costume. I mean, it's just a green, like karate, gi or whatever you call it, with a yellow headband. I mean, come on, like how hard is that?
Yeah, isn't it like a skin tight yellow leotard though, with like green bondage wraps around him? I don't know.
Modern. I mean, they could have done the modern version. It's more like a, I don't know. Yeah,
maybe
whatever. Because I mean, even WandaVision, they updated. It was still the Scarlet Witch at the end with the headgear and the cape and the outfit, but it was modernized for a new MCU look,
I suppose so.
And she wasn't wearing like that Halloween costume they showed her in, like, in the end, which is what the Halloween costume's what the comic book looks like,
Well, here you go, John. Here's a question, because you know your stuff. Which of the new MCU characters is the most comic accurate in look and character, and which one comes straight out of the comic book, and then conversely, which one is totally different to what they're like in the comics?
Let's see. Spider-Man, in my opinion, has almost always been spot on. Andrew Garfield was a little bit too, like, good looking and like not clumsy and like
too
witty
cool
enough. Yeah, too cool.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
But the other two guys played him very well, and but some of their villains fall short of the comics. Like they take a lot of liberties on those villains. But let's see here. Like the X-Men, a lot of them are touch and go. Like even Magneto and Charles Xavier, like he doesn't take a serum to get rid of his powers, and once his mind control powers are gone, he can suddenly walk. Like that makes no sense, like so that was way off, like, but at the same time though, in the X-Men, I think that Wolverine, for me, that Hugh Jackman, as far as not looking a lot, like not being the right height, not looking a lot, but I mean, he captured the essence of the character like spot on. I mean, a lot of times when I'm reading Wolverine comics, Hugh Jackman's voice is in my head. It's like he was spot on. And Sabretooth from that line in that one movie, the first movie where Sabretooth showed up, where he jumped out of the trees in the snow and attacked them. That was like, to me, that was spot on Sabretooth, you know.
They never had him back, did they? I don't think they never had that character back in that form. We had him back, obviously,
no, not
his
in that
brother,
form.
but he didn't look anything like that.
Yeah, not in that form. And I think the MCU, almost in general, I think they did Iron Man well. They did Mark Ruffalo Hulk was very good in all of his incantations, when he was just like raging Hulk, and when he became an intelligent someone sitting there talking about selfies and eating tons of pancakes, I thought was brilliant too, you know. And Captain America, I mean, this Winter Soldier's done great. Like Sam as the Falcon. I mean, like all these things, to me, they've captured the essence of what the comic is, and they treat the comic with respect. They alter the story, of course, so that those of us who've been reading the comics our entire life, we get a new story with these characters we grew up loving, but the characters are still true to their essence. They're true to the comic book form, and the writers and the people acting and doing this stuff respect the comics and where they came from, to try and give us something, us long-term readers, something that we can say, yes, that is the character I grew up with finally on screen. And that's what I think DC lacks. Like when you look at Aquaman, you don't see the character you grew up with. You know, you look at Black Manta in that Aquaman movie, and you're like, that's not the character I grew up with. You know, they don't treat the comic book with any respect and put it in the film. You know what I mean? Like Marvel does. And as far as people might have loved the Snyder cut, but I still say the same thing. Half those characters are not my Batman. It's not my Joker. That's not the one I grew up with, you know? So they're not respecting the source material the same way that Marvel does. They have this thing that the general audience won't accept a comic book character in a movie, and I still think they think that way in the DC universe. You know? And some of it was like the Richard Donner films, that's my Superman. Superman 1 and 2, you know?
Oh,
so why can't that Superman be back in these films? You know, it's like, and Henry Cavill did a great job. I'm not saying anything to put it down, but it's like,
Did you watch the Snyder cut, John?
Oh yeah.
What did you think of it?
Oh, it's way better than the theatrical version. Way better.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't come close to what Marvel's doing. Not even close, you know. It's entertaining, it's a great film, but it's not on that level, you know.
Yeah, pretty much every Marvel movie I can go back and rewatch it, and I don't think I'm ever going to rewatch the Snyder cut.
Same thing. Agreed. Yeah.
I think
and I loved the fact that Darkseid had his Omega beams. I was like, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? And they did it, and I was like, oh yes. So that was the only moment in the movie where I went, yes, when the Omega beams came out and shot the guy behind him.
Yep.
But that's what I was trying to say. Like when we were watching some of those Marvel movies, you know, Iron Man building up to Captain America, building up with Thor, building up, going into the Avengers to Age of Ultron, there were moments as those movies built up, especially in Avengers films, where you leapt out of your seat with emotion and you were like, yes, oh my gosh, they're doing it, holy crap, you know. And like when Infinity Gauntlet happened and it finally came to fruition, everything that we'd been building up was like coming true. And then you get like Endgame, and Captain America picks up Thor's hammer in Endgame, and he's like, and everybody in the theater was like, yes, and people were standing up, people were shouting. It was an emotional moment. People had tears in their eyes. You know, some people were drawn to tears when he picked up that Thor's hammer. When you watch Snyder Cut, you're not drawn to tears. You're not pouring out emotion. You're not jumping out of your seat like they finally did it. Yes, you know, because there's no buildup. That's what I mean by it doesn't come close to Marvel, you know. They needed a build-up. They need something for you to care about the bad guys as much as the good guys. So when the bad guys lose, you're right there with them, with the good guys saying, "Yeah, get him. All right, he's done." And in Marvel, we had that build up for years where you don't have that with the DC.
Well, I don't think anyone has ever done that in history before, though, have they? Built like an arc over 20 odd films. No one's ever done that before. Certainly not in this medium, anyway. So that's quite a hard bar for anybody to follow.
The only other franchise that comes close is Star Wars itself, because Star Wars, every movie's been connected. So we look at it differently, but if you break it down and go back, you start going, well, yeah, I mean, Star Wars had a 20-year run or 30-year run, 40-year run where everything's connected, so, but there's just less films. Yeah.
Well, and that's the big thing is, like, I grew up with the Justice League animated series, the Batman animated series, and so I love these characters and I grew up watching them and playing with them and stuff like that. But the way that they've done some of the characters and the villains, I'm just not as excited about it from DC. And you're exactly right. Is like when I watched the MCU and then there's that after credit scene and Thanos is like, "Fine, I'll do it myself." You're like, "Oh, it's about to
yeah."
But in the the Justice League movies, it's like Darkseid does not seem like that huge threat.
No, that's what I mean.
Who's this dude?
Yeah. We need a build up, and maybe we'll get it. I mean, maybe we'll get it over time if they can make more films with these actors and keep going on whatever HBO or whatever they want to do, whether it's in theaters or not. And maybe they'll build up to an event that comes on 5-10 years down the road where they finally put an end to Darkseid. Maybe we'll have that moment, and this is just the beginning of it, so it's too early to judge.
Yeah.
Well, the Snyder. Sorry, Brandon, go for it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, please, my bad. I
was going to say, it's hard for me because the scenes that they use in the Snyder Cut, you see Darkseid getting his ass kicked, like, really. And you didn't see that with Thanos. Like, Thanos was a threat the whole way through, besides when he basically let himself get killed, on the planet. But it's just hard for me now, because if they do try to build up towards anything for Darkseid, it's like, well, we've already seen like them absolutely destroy him, and he had to be carried off the battlefield. Like,
that's true. He did get he got an axe through his shoulder. Yeah.
Sorry, Salacious, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Actually, it's funny because you have pointed out one of the big plot holes of that whole story as well, because for thousands of years he's been looking for these mother boxes, but did he not forget that all three of them were left on Earth?
He was there before. He was there. That's true.
He got his ass kicked so bad he had amnesia.
Yeah, I do agree. Though Wonder Woman is the exception, though. I actually liked both Wonder Woman movies. I almost don't understand why people have a problem with 1984, because I think it's just as good as the first one. And Wonder Woman is my favorite DC film, other than the Christopher Nolan trio. I really loved those. I love that. Man, if Heath Ledger hadn't passed away and we could have got like 5 more films with the Joker and Batman, I would have watched them all. I just think that version of Batman is brilliant and that Joker is brilliant. And again, that's not the Joker I'm used to from the comics, but what they did made me love that Joker so much. It's just, in that case, it's like an exception to the rule in a sense, where they created something that I love just as much as the original Joker, and just as much as the Mark Hamill Joker. I've often said, like, why can't you get like some actor to play Joker that looks like Joker and then have Mark Hamill do the voice, sort of like how they do with Darth Maul, where, Ray Park plays him, but Sam Witwer does the voice, I never understand why more acting duos don't do that. Like, I'll play the character physically, you do the voice because you're so good at it, and together we capture that character perfectly. And I always thought Mark Hamill captured the voice of the Joker just perfectly. Mm-hmm. So, but when I saw Heath Ledger, I was like, oh no, this is fantastic. I love it. Yeah, and Flashpoint would be a good story. That's the other thing too, is like they could do some of these epic DC stories, and not have to stick. I don't know. Am I wrong in this feeling? Like, I don't think I need an origin story for every character. Like,
no.
In this day and age, I feel like I can accept that a superhero is a superhero, and maybe give me like a 5-second or 5-minute little montage thing of how he got his power or something. But I don't need a full-on movie that takes 2 hours to explain his origin. So, like, you could do like a brilliant Flashpoint film or 2-part film, 2 films or something, and you don't need to explain all these side characters' powers and stories. Just have them there and be like, oh, that's cool, Yeah. And same with Green Lantern. If you did a Green Lantern Corps film properly, like with all those different Green Lanterns fighting like the Blackest Night, oh man, that would be like, could you imagine Blackest Night as a film or a series of films? Like, there's some brilliant stories in there. Blackest Night and Brightest Day, you could go into that whole thing. It just would. I think they're missing out on some of these great They could tap into these amazing stories they've done on epic levels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just shows how hard it is. I think, doesn't it, to put it into it can't. There's no way I can believe that it's simple to make a movie.
No,
it sounds like an incredibly complicated process with a number of creators and leaders, and then you've got the business element and the finance element, and all of those things have got to come together and gel together to create this end product. So it can't be easy, and we're often we're tough critics, aren't we, as well?
Yeah.
Especially when DC is already facing an uphill battle now that everybody's going to compare it to what Marvel has done.
Yes, that's true too. Yeah. The other thing too I criticize about is the difference between television and film. Like, why can't a movie character cross over to a television show? It doesn't make sense to me. Like they made Gotham, and they're making this new like Gotham PD thing where it's like they're going into the focusing again on the police department in Gotham, and they're going to have all the side villains and things in it, but they're not having Batman again, and the show Gotham had Bruce Wayne as a kid, but he never really became Batman. And like Smallville, you had a great story of Clark growing up, but he never actually became Superman in a sense, And it's like, because they always said, well, we don't want to have Superman in a television show, we don't want to have Batman in a show, because they're movie characters, they're not for TV. And it's always to me like, no, why can't they be on TV? Like, I don't understand, Like,
well, I think streaming's changing that, John. I think the perception of television has changed a lot, and long form storytelling now is in vogue. And I think film actors were scared off, probably by their agents to a large extent, to stay away from television and don't have your name, dropped to that standard. But I think my favorite format of watching content now is binging series. I absolutely love being introduced to a new series and then binging a season in a day, or over a weekend.
A Justice League Unlimited show, like Stargirl did a bunch of that by putting all these characters back together into a Justice Society in a sense. And that was just amazing to me. I loved seeing her collect the different characters and give them their trinkets and bring them back, and I thought that was so cool. And like having a show like that Justice League Unlimited cartoon, but live action would just be awesome, And every week you could have different characters just come in. Like this episode, Hawkman's on it, and you're like, oh, cool. And then he doesn't have to come back for like 5 more episodes. You could have different characters each episode. I know that's a lot for like I always say, I'd love to see anthology series in like Marvel, DC, Star Wars. Like, just imagine having one Star Wars show and these next 5 episodes deal with Cassian Andor, and then the Star Wars show doesn't stop, and then the next 5 episodes are with like Hera and the Rebels crew or something, and then the next 5 are back in the Old Republic, and then the next 5 are during the High Republic, and then the next 4 or 5 episodes are, you know what I mean? So it's sort of an anthology series that just never stops. 24, 52 weeks a year. It never ever stops. Every week we have a new episode of Star Wars, but it's just set in a different era. And I understand the logistics of that is just incredibly overwhelming, because you're going to have to hire a whole new set of actors for every single episode, and a whole new set of costumes, a whole new set. So it's like they can be overwhelming, but I just think that would be an awesome thing to do,
Well, we're getting more Star Wars than we've ever had before.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Yeah.
This is definitely, despite all the criticisms that you can have, some of them legitimate, and some of them just because we're passionate fans. This is a good time to be a fan. Of all sorts of properties. There's a lot of creative people making a lot of cool stuff. So, and if there isn't a show for you, there will be another one around the corner that you'll probably like. So,
yeah. And this year especially, is like it's kicking it off where we got a Marvel, a Star Wars, a Marvel, a Star Wars, a Marvel, a Star Wars, and only like a little bit of a break in between, 2 weeks or whatever in between. So we're almost getting that. There's a show to watch every week,
Yeah. I just hope that people manage to keep the politics out of it. I don't want that in my sci-fi and my my escapism. I don't want to be embroiled in all of that. Let's just give us the escapism, please.
I had the same thing. I do like the Superman Lois show, and yes, it's made me go back and watch some of Smallville. I was watching Smallville even before Superman started because of that, and yeah, I really do like the first 2 or 3 seasons of Smallville. I think they did some really good stuff back then. But I think your point there, Salacious, is a good thing to go out on, because we've gone over the time I like to usually stop at. But that we are living in a perfect time for Star Wars, Marvel, DC, all this stuff. And we are fortunate to have as much stuff to watch as we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, and we're all passionate fans, and we're entitled to our opinions. That's good. That's what keeps the hobby fun and interesting. Being able to debate, the pros and cons and the merits of each shows, and you bet your bottom dollar, John and Brandon, we're still going to go out and buy all the figures, aren't we? Whatever shows next, we're going to be buying the figures. So, and long may it continue, as far as I'm concerned, because there are far worse things we could be putting our money in and our attention to. So, it's a good, positive form of escapism that, in this world with so much tragedy and chaos going on, thank God we've got this to fall back on, and it's brought all of us together, hasn't it? We would never have met each other if it wasn't for the hobby and the fandom. So yeah, out of a chaotic and horrible year, there are some silver linings to things. So,
hello, Ed5. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. I'm just quite thankful for this whole community. I think that, the people we've met over the last year especially is just, I've been overwhelmed with the passion and the joy that these people bring to all our lives. These guys in the chat, the people we've met from the different streams and everything. And you guys up here above me, yeah. I'm thankful to have met everyone,
Well, I bet you never thought you'd be friends with a monkey lizard and an Ewok before.
No, I can't say that I really did. I was thinking that one day I might be able to befriend a hammerhead, but yeah, monkey lizard and an Ewok are just as good.
Although Brandon shaved all of his hair off, though. No one ever brings this up.
That's right.
Yeah.
He is a furless Ewok, yeah. What's this saying? It's telling me oh, it's going to restart to do an update. No, don't restart now. We haven't hit stop streaming yet. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. Brandon, Salacious, and Bob, thank you for joining me on this live stream. I really appreciate it. And tell everybody where to find your stuff. I forgot to give this opportunity to Sean Solo and Usual Mike last week, and I felt so bad. So I'm going to try to remember from now on to plug your stuff. So where are you guys located? Where can they listen to you? Where can they follow you on Twitter if they're not already doing so?
All my social stuff, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, it's all Apprentice Ewok, just like you see it right there. I do game streams almost every day of the week, and then I do live chats Wednesdays and Saturdays with other people in the toy community. So
on YouTube, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And Salacious?
Well, I'm definitely going to take this opportunity to plug myself. So strap in, because this could take some time.
You might want to get a snack.
Yeah. So we have a website. It's www.salaciousrum.com. Please check it out for some crazy monkey lizard shenanigans. We are at youtube.com/salaciousrum. Often game streaming The Walking Dead during the week, and often playing Battlefront with John and Brandon and other people at the weekend. We have a podcast called Free Men and a Monkey Lizard, and that rotates around my channel, A Dude's Nerdery channel, Sean Solo's channel, and Oakhurst Studios channel. We like to make things complicated for you guys. But the podcast, of Free Men and a Monkey Lizard, is also available in audio formats on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Breaker, and all of the major podcast catchers. So please help us out and subscribe and follow to our podcast. You have to search with the number 3 to find us, but it's helping us move up the charts. I'm also very active on Twitter and Instagram. Both are Salacious Rum, and if you follow me, I will 100% follow you back and probably send you weird monkey lizard photos, so I apologize in advance. And I'm also very active on TikTok, and I'm unfortunately there I'm Salacious_Rum, but please join me over there for some crazy monkey lizard shorts.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you guys for being on.
Thank you, John.
And
thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I'm sure I will talk to you guys later. Play some games later, things like that. And thank you to everybody in the chat. And thanks again, John Joker, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. And may the force be with you guys always.
See ya.